And now to the latest on the presidential election. A judge in Pennsylvania a short time ago dismissed a lawsuit brought by the Trump campaign. His attorneys wanted election officials to throw out some mail-in votes in that state.
And recounts are picking up in the two largest counties in Wisconsin. President-elect Joe Biden carried both Dane and Milwaukee counties by a 2-to-1 margin. And NewsNation correspondent Michael Shore joins us live from Dane County, which makes up most of the Madison area. So, Michael, what's the status there?
Okay, well, let's talk about Wisconsin, where we are, in just a moment. There is, the news tonight out of Pennsylvania is breaking news, Rutabaga and Nicole, and I have to tell you that what we're hearing now is another defeat from the Trump campaign by another judge. This judge, Matthew Brann in Pennsylvania, who dismissed the case against the state of Pennsylvania, saying this court has been presented with strained legal arguments without merit and speculative accusations. In the United States of America, this cannot justify the disenfranchisement of a single voter, let alone all the votes of the 6th most populated state. That's Pennsylvania. So another loss there. Of course, the president can appeal that case to the Supreme Court and then on to the U.S. Supreme Court. But for now, it appears that is dead in the water with the dismissal that came from Justice Brown's bench. And then or Judge Brown's bench in Pennsylvania. That's Brann, B-R-A-N-N. And now we move to Wisconsin, where we are. The recount is happening about a quarter-mile away from where I'm standing. It's been going on all day. They had observers there from both campaigns. We were inside today, spoke to people who were there. This is a recount that's being paid for entirely by the Trump campaign. That's $3 million, but he's only recounting in Dane County and in Milwaukee County. And those are the two most Democratic counties here, again, paid for by the Trump campaign. And we'll see where this goes, but the difference in Wisconsin is 20,000 votes. It's going to be hard to see that change from this recount, but it's something that the campaign wanted to do, and it's going on here in Madison.
From my own research and from independent sources that I have, and an experience having voted for 25 years, that this Wisconsin election has not been upheld and is not a legal vote count.
I think the people have voted and decided, and that outcome should be accepted. It seems like right now we're trying to change an outcome that already happened. I don't think that's fair, and I think the president needs to accept that.
And those were people we saw today at the Capitol, Wisconsin Capitol, which is right behind me. There was a Trump protest today, and those were some of the people, both Biden and Trump supporters, that were out here today in Wisconsin. The count goes on, and we'll see where it goes tomorrow as this count continues, and it will continue until it's done for these two counties. Back to you.
All right, so Michael, I know you're covering a lot of ground for us from Pennsylvania to Wisconsin, and there are some new developments tonight in Michigan as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. What happened today was Ronna Romney McDaniel, the chair of the GOP of the Republican Party, the RNC, and the chair of the GOP from Michigan sent a joint letter, sent it to the state of Michigan, saying that they should halt the count so that they can do an audit of the count because of voting irregularities there. Michigan is set to decide on certification on Monday in Lansing, and whether or not they do that or they honor what the request of the Republican Party in that state remains to be seen. And again, this is a part of a larger legal battle that's taking place. But this letter that went out, and Gretchen Whitmer knew it was happening, the governor of Michigan knew it was going to happen. This letter that went out is starting to cause people in Michigan to doubt the results there. But again, if the state attorney general and the canvassing board in Michigan on Monday say that is how it's going to go, then this will be dropped as well. And that's what people are predicting on the ground in Michigan.
All right, well, Michael, we can't let you go yet. From Michigan now to Georgia. We know Georgia has certified their results, but is the story ending there?
It's not ending there. You know, it should. Brian Kemp, the governor there, the friend of Donald Trump, governor of Georgia, the Republican who beat Stacey Abrams in 2018. They also have in Brad Raffensperger a Republican Secretary of State. They both have said that this is where Georgia is. The vote has been certified there, and that Joe Biden has won by a very slim margin, but he still won the state even after a hand recount there went through that, a recanvassing. Now the Trump campaign is saying, and this is Donald Trump in a tweet, saying to look out for news in Georgia, which could only mean that Donald Trump is going to try and do what he's doing here in Wisconsin, which could possibly be to pay for a hand recount again or a re-auditing of what they do in Georgia on that election. But Georgia, the governor and the Secretary of State, important to point out that both are Republicans, have said that Joe Biden won the state of Georgia and its 16 electoral votes. It goes even farther when you get to some of the other states, but Georgia is one that people have their eyes on because those 16 electoral votes were a flip for the Democrats. Ruta Bay, Nicole.